It would seem that every other week Mercedes is launching a new car. This is the GLC. Now, this is another car to add to the list of cars that come from Mercedes this year, and they're going to continue with this for the next 3 or 4 years yet. More and more models of cars. Good decision? Bad decision? Who knows? But this is the GLC that I'm confronted with right now. It's a 200D, which is 1950cc diesel engine. We're going to have a look around on the inside, the back seat, the boot, and so on. And I'll give my opinion along the way. Join me, come on. It does seem that Mercedes is launching a fair few cars lately, doesn't it? It just seems that way. But the interior isn't changing all that much. Now, I like a Mercedes interior. Not everybody does, but I actually do like it. I like the 2 cup holders that are here. I like the big dump box here for your phone and things. In here is a USB port, USB-C, by the way. They do give you a converter. You're perfectly entitled to, and you have my permission when you walk into a dealership. You're confronted with USB-C ports on your car, and you have a USB-A or whatever it is you've got. To ask for an adapter, it should be free. Do you hear that, dealers? It should be free. Look after your customers. Anyway, the seating position, this is actually quite nice. Feels very reminiscent of the C-Class in general in that respect, and it also looks a bit like the E-Class in the centre with this screen that doesn't quite blend into the dashboard. I really wish they started blending these things in. I don't like that it looks like it's supposed to unclip. It looks like an iPad that I'm supposed to take out and bring with me, but the system itself that runs inside it is brilliant. The Mercedes system is really good. I'm not starting the car because the minute I start saying the word Mercedes, she'll start asking me what I want to do. The Mercedes woman thing, machine. Manual dials, manual dash, and I have unlimited buttons. It can be a little bit confusing with the pad and this, but at least they're all manual, right? At least there's buttons, no knobs, but buttons to press. There is a volume knob here, and there's one on your dashboard as well. So, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto is standard function in this. If you want to get into the menus, just press home and you're brought into that. Now I can do the pad, I can do that with the pad through each thing, or I can use it as a touchscreen. See that, Audi? Look, touchscreen. See that? Look, do that and you get a touchscreen. Brilliant, isn't it? Anyway, the touchscreen works very, very well. Touchscreens are very safe because you're looking, your eye line is on the road and you look over here and you press the button for media and it pops up in the media, but you have all the manual controls as well down here. Apologies, that has just started playing something from the radio. Now, the car itself is laid out conveniently. So you have the screen up here, but you've also got all the manual controls on here for your heating system on both sides of the car. And it's close to the passenger, close to the driver as well. You're about to be overtaken here by a couple of horses that are walking down. Tell me why. Great for riding out. See in the background? Horses? This is the Curragh. This is the jeopardy of the Curragh, is to see horses everywhere or sheep everywhere. The sheep are everywhere, which means there's sheep and horse shite absolutely everywhere on the Curragh Plains and mostly around Kildare, surrounded by horse shite in more ways than one. But I like the interior. I love the seats. Now, the drawback is that this car has 10,000 euros worth of options on it, making it 58,000 euro. Starts at about 48 grand for this model car. I think it's good, but 58 grand is nearly 60 when it's on the road. Like, it's a lot of money, but it's a lot of money for a small car. But still, Mercedes managed to do something very right with this car. One complaint I do have, and a couple of other people have as well, is the door handle is quite low here. I know it's a small thing, but it's just kind of low. When you open the door, it's just there. It's very low down. It's kind of in a weird spot. But anyway, notwithstanding that, let's have a look at the back seat. See what that looks like. Oh yeah, heated seats is on the door as well for some reason. I don't know why that is. The button for it there. Now, coming around to the back is a sort of a letdown. The problem is there's absolutely nothing back here. There's two vents back here, and that's about it really. There's a knob in between the two vents to turn them on or off. And that's it. That's all that's in the back seat. There is some document cover there and one there on that side. The back of the seat is plastic, which is good. Small family, small kids, feet against the back of your seat. You want a hard one. And then when you close the door, the sound insulation is incredibly good, but it is a bit dark back here because there's no sunroof or anything in this car. It does have a armrest, which is got a document thing in it, but no cup holder. So there's no cup holder for the back passengers back here. apart from the door pocket here, has a sort of a bottle holder effect, but that's not for holding like a cup of coffee. So this center piece has a little button up here that you can drop the center part and leave the 2 seats full up, because you can put long things through the car, but you still end up with a proper driver's seat. Now, a drawback here is I can't actually drop this seat from here. I have to go into the boot to drop it, because it's kind of electric. I'll show you what I mean. To get out of the car, hold on a second. Okay, so I'm around the back of the car, and now I can drop that seat, but I can't seem to drop that seat from inside the car. So I'm in here, you've no control over it. So I can't drop that seat unless I go to the boot as well. Flaw, I don't know if it's going to drive you nuts over time or not, but it's kind of annoying that I can't just do it from here, from a switch up the top. I have to go to the boot to do it. Speaking of the boot, back seat's fine, room enough and all, but let's have a look at the boot. So you see, I can only drop the seats from back here from these little switches, which is convenient, because they drop in a blink of an eye. But, well, you know, the problem is when you want to drop them in there. But the boot space itself is actually fine. Plenty of space in here. You get a nice little tonneau cover to go with it. You got a 12-volt socket back here, a couple of shopping bag hooks, and under here you got more and more space. Mercedes have begun including a little box, which I quite like as well. This little handy tray thing. See, they include that thing in the boot, which folds up nice and neat and goes back under here like that. Really straightforward. But fundamental flaw, there's no spare wheel in this car, which means when you get a flat tire, and you will get a flat tire, you're on your own. You got an inflation kit, and that doesn't work usually. Anyway, let's go for a spin. So I'm on a very bumpy surface here, and it manages to smooth it out pretty good. And when I say bump, I mean loose gravel, kind of frozen water area. This is kind of slightly off-road. It's not technically a road. I don't mean it's off-road. I just mean it's not a road. And it smooths out kind of nice. But the complaint I would have would be the front shock suspension system on this. Some speed bumps seem to catch it out, and it becomes very crashy all of a sudden over rampy speed bumps, ones that have a flat front to them. It seems to catch it out very, very easily. Even when you hit them slow, it feels like the suspension is being driven into the car. But it's only sometimes. You kind of have to seek it out. I thought it was a mistake the first time I did it, and then it seemed to be just that way. Now, this is not an SUV. This is not an off-road vehicle. I'm not going to be able to drive up the Himalayas in this car or anything. But still, it seems very capable. The seating position is nice and high. I feel like I'm up off the road instead of being in the road. Now, you can see I'm really hitting those. There's some really big bumps there, but it really does smooth it out. Mercedes is doing a king of a job with that suspension. It's only on certain little flat-fronted speed bumps that it becomes a tiny bit crashy, but most of these cars are, because they are in essence 5-door hatchbacks or small saloon cars that have been given a higher suspension level and bigger wheels, but essentially the rest remains the same. Now, thinking about the engine for a minute, this is a 1950 something 58cc diesel unit, one of Mercedes' own one, and it's very good. It's a very, very reliable engine, and it pulls very nicely. There's not a massive amount of torque, but there's certainly enough to haul around 4 passengers and all of their stuff in the boot. This will do the daily run all the time, and what I really, really like about it is they've put some sort of a preheater in. Because in the mornings when you get in, after like 2 minutes, it's warm and it's starting to pump out warm air. And I absolutely love that. The kids love that as well, of course. And I have heated seats in the front. Now, like I said, there is 10,000 euros worth of options on this car. So make no mistake, this is not a cheap car. This is not a cheap entry-level Mercedes. This is a higher up spec version of it. Now, you have voice control in this as well, which means normally when you say the words Mercedes, it starts listening to you, but it might be a bit confused at the moment because I'm not putting the word hey in front of it. This is a car you will enjoy driving and owning. It's a very impressive machine. I love the LED lights and I like the kind of front on it. It's got an imposing Mercedes logo, but it hasn't gone all out massive BMW grille anymore. It's got a nice and subtle front to it. And yet you know you're in a Mercedes. You feel like it in here. It feels like a good, solid car. And it feels like it was designed to be a sort of an SUV off-road feeling to it. It feels like it's supposed to be lifted into the air. I don't really have any straight-up complaint about this car. It's an honest, straight-up Mercedes, other than the price.
How may I help you?
See, once she hears you the first time, once she catches you out the first time, that's it. She's going to be on now, listening for me the whole time, asking me what else I can do. She's still listening.
Could you repeat your input, please?
No, I can't.
What would you like to do?
Well, nothing really. Just do my piece to camera. It went away. That's good. She understood nothing. They update this all the time and they do it over the wire as well. Voice control is getting better and better with time as time goes on. But I'm not sure I don't want it to respond to me the way Siri responds to me. So when I say, hey Siri, I know I want the phone to respond, but I think they need to name the hey or hi thing something else. And I know you can rename them. I forget what the setting is at this stage. I know I've renamed them several times. But you need to name it something else, because the minute you say, what are you driving? I'm driving a Mercedes. And on it'll come in the middle of it. So the automatic box is really smooth in this. You have flappy paddle gearbox. You can control it yourself if you want to. You just press down on the gear shift, which is over here in a Mercedes. You press down on that to return back to comfort mode or whatever. You've got modes in this as well, so you can go in and out of modes and do the stuff. To be honest with you, after I finished playing with sport, which didn't do much, and the kind of eco mode and stuff, I just returned to comfort and left it there, because the car seems happiest in comfort mode. Fuel consumption, again, about 4.9 to 5.2 litres per 100 kilometres. Very good, extremely good. You don't get that under load, so when you start accelerating, obviously you're going to use a lot more. And it does have this mild hybrid effect of charging the battery up a little bit. I think mild hybrid is a con to some degree. I think it's a con to get the CO2 emissions down rather than being something that benefits the end user. So I'm not entirely sure that that's even worth your consideration. I don't think you're going to get any better fuel economy from a mild hybrid than you will from a straight diesel or petrol. Look, hopefully that's all you need to know about the Mercedes GLC. There's many more Mercedes videos on my channel, and there's also more Mercedes being launched every week. So if you can hit the subscribe button, it'd be really good. I'm also on Instagram and Twitter, and I'm even on TikTok, which TikTok reminded me of that the other day. I created an account long ago. Still there, so I'm on TikTok as well. Get in touch if you've got any questions. Leave some comments down below if you've got any questions about stuff, you want to know some things about it. But at the very least, hit the subscribe button, and maybe you check out the little support buttons as well. But until the next time, I will see you on the far side. Dublin is a really odd place because it's a medieval city. It's a Viking city. It's older than Viking cities. You know, this is founded on Celtic history and stuff. And we're trying to ram 2019 and 2020 into a medieval city. It's so difficult to make it work, you know. But we still seem absolutely, that's the Lewis, by the way, we still seem absolutely fascinated by putting cars in the city. I mean, I'm in traffic here moving in to the city right now, and there's got to be 30, 40 cars between me and the next set of traffic lights. And that Lewis just breezed by there, no problem. Understand, I have to drive in as well because I have to drop this car, which involves me driving into the city first to collect stuff to come back out. So you have to have a car, but we just seem fascinated in this country by building the infrastructure around the personal automobile and not building the infrastructure around the person. And that's the problem. We build tiny footpaths and really wide roads. And then we don't police the footpaths, we police the roads. You know what I mean? We put Garda in cars driving around in the traffic with us, where their zone of influence is where you can see them, which means they only have influence over 10 or 15 cars at a time. But if you had police on the beat here, you'd have people on foot at all times seeing everything that's going on in the community, which is what this area is, a community area. Right now there's no shops surrounding me, nothing. These are all personal houses that are built on with the Lewis line that's been built in front of them now, but it's strange, and there's not a single guard here. Because there isn't enough guards, not blaming the guards, there just isn't enough of them. Another Lewis. And like that Lewis is almost empty. It's not like there's standing room only on that Lewis, it's nearly empty, and here I am stuck in traffic. Amazing.